Yo, what's up guys? So, Universal Mastery, and in today's video, I have something that's very interesting, and it's fairly new. Not too many people are talking about this. Not too many people know the truth behind what I'm about to tell you guys. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is the attachment theory. And the truth of it. Okay, so first thing that I want to say is when you hear the word attachment, what you're most likely thinking right now is like something bad, right? You're probably thinking like, oh, I'm not supposed to be attached to anything. That's a bad thing. I don't like that word at all. But what we're not being told, what you usually aren't told, is the positive thing behind attachment. So, in other words, there are some things that are a good thing to be attached to. Now, it's in our human nature that there's always going to be something that we're attached to. It's how we keep moving forward. Okay, whether that's, you know, your business, whether that's your job, whether that's your friendships, whether that's, you name it. There's something that gives you motivation every day, therefore you are attached to that thing. Okay? Now, if something gives you the motivation to wake up every morning and to be your best and most healthy self, then that is a good attachment. That is something that you fully want to be attached to. You want to strengthen your connection to whatever that thing is, that inner motivation that you have is. Be attached to that. That's a good thing. Now, what we're told a lot is the things that aren't good to be attached to. And it's true. You know, we don't want to be attached to a certain substance, a certain drug. We don't want to be attached to a toxic relationship. We don't want to be attached to, you know, anything that can run our lives. You don't want to be attached to that. But because there is this main understanding of attachment, because there's places in the government that know about attachment. Okay, they have locked into that. They know our human nature. They know that we're going to be attached to something. So what do? They create a whole bunch of products, a whole bunch of supplements, a whole bunch of modalities, a whole bunch of things that you can get attached to. And a lot of these outside things that you can get attached to aren't for your best growth. They're not for your best good. They're not for your healthiest self, if you will. So it's our job to look around and see the things that are going on around us. See what are most people attached to. Well, I see one that's very common. I live in Miami. A lot of people are attached to smoking, whether that's marijuana, whether that's nicotine, whatever the fuck it is. A lot of people smoke here, and a lot of people drink alcohol. There's a lot of attachments when it comes to those two things. And then you have like kava and kratom. And I'm not saying that these things are bad and that there's not a time and place for these things. But what I'm saying is that as soon as you become attached and you don't know who you are outside of these substances, and they start to run your life. Like, if you're waking up every single morning just to use that substance, or if you're waking up every single morning just to get back to that toxic relationship, if you're waking up every single morning to get back to a toxic situation that you know is no good in your life, then that is an attachment that is not going to be for your best good. It is not for your best growth. So that's something that you want to be aware of. But remember, it's not about lose all attachments, because imagine that. Imagine if you woke up one morning and you just lost all attachments, in the sense of you don't brush your teeth anymore, you don't clean yourself anymore, you don't eat food anymore. Like, these are all attachments that we need. Attachment is important. It's how we live. It's how we define ourselves. It's how we make sense of things. But you want to make sure that the things that you're attached to, once again, are the things that are going to universally put you into an upward spiral, so that you can open your mind to other things, other modalities. If you can be attached to things that force you to be open-minded, then that is an amazing attachment. So that's kind of just the first picture that I wanted to draw with this whole attachment in, non-attachment thing. That's the theory of the law of attachment. Once again, we are always going to be attached to certain things. So it's also important to recognize when you're attached to those unhealthy things to then reattach yourself. So detach from that and then plug your socket, plug your plug into a different socket. So then reattach yourself to something else. So for example, let's say that you have a habit of going out and smoking nicotine, smoking a whole bunch of cigarettes and all these things, or going out and drinking a whole bunch of alcohol, things in that nature. Let's say you have a habit of that and you do that all the time, and you realize that you do have an issue with it, but you're lying to yourself and you're saying, oh, well, I can stop at any time. But the truth is, it's running you on a psychological level. It's running you on an emotional level. And because it's running you on an emotional level, you're not able to spiritually burn through past traumas to actually heal yourself. So let's say you're attached to one of those things that I just mentioned. A good, healthy alternative would be to reattach yourself to maybe exercise. Okay, so stop putting your time and energy into going out, making sure you buy your cigarettes, doing what you do for that ritual, that routine, and create a whole different ritual routine, like going out and exercising, or maybe going and getting a fresh squeezed juice, something in the nature of like kale, carrots, cucumber, orange, like with all the vitamins. You will literally feel a shift in your body. And I'm telling you this not because I'm just speaking on regurgitated shit that I've learned, but from personal experience. That's all my videos. They're all personal experience. I feel what I'm saying. This isn't just me speaking. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm a speaker, a real speaker, someone who goes through things to then be able to speak on them. Have I been attached to unhealthy things? Absolutely. I've been addicted to many things. I've been addicted to pills. I've been addicted to marijuana. I've done psychedelics many times. I'm no saint when it comes to that stuff. But once again, is there a time and place for everything? Absolutely. You can learn amazing things by going into those fields. You can learn things about yourself, what you don't like, the hidden things about yourself. And there's something specific that I want to say. Sometimes you have to be addicted to the wrong things in order to then teach other people how to not be addicted to whatever it may be. Insert blank here. Because to speak on something that you've never been through, that you've never gone through, it's impossible. You're not going to be speaking on it from a true standing point that's really going to make an impact. So maybe I've been addicted to multiple things before, substances, because I meant to speak on this. I meant to share my knowledge. But when I was in that addiction, I wasn't aware of maybe that's why I'm addicted. I was in the realm of addiction. It's a spirit. It's a realm. Like, I want you guys to understand that. It's a realm. You go into this place where it's so real to you, and you're doing it, and it's making you feel better. It's like putting band-aids on the wound that needs to be cleaned. It's like continuously putting band-aids on a wound that has this rusty, dusty thing inside of it that you need to remove in order to actually heal it. But you just keep putting band-aids on top, and it's already stopped bleeding It's not the blood that's the problem. It's the thing that's lodged in you. It's that trauma. And you have to remove it in order to actually start healing. So drugs and all those things, they mask that. They put it on. But once again, there are times where, sometimes it's important to, go into addiction or, do a certain substance, because it can open your mind. There's people that can get addicted to only eating healthy, only living this straightforward lifestyle, and they've never even experienced the other side. So they're blind on one end, okay? So you want to learn how to balance it. You want to know what addiction is like. But once again, am I encouraging you to go out and be addicted? Or am I encouraging you, if you're already addicted to something? Absolutely not. What I encourage you is shift to the other end of the spectrum. You're going to see massive changes. You're going to be thanking me later. But I just want to speak the truth. And to find the balance between both, you need to understand both. Now, when you find that balance and you understand, where do you want to be? You want to be on the healthy side. Because once you've gone through addiction, once you let your life get run by a certain substance, I do believe there's some sort of inner genetic code awakening when you do those things, because it takes you into a whole nother realm of existence and you literally lose a part of yourself. But then when you come out of it, you're like a better person. But you have to come out of it. And how many people come out of it? Not many. And they create more and more and more problems for themselves. So once again, step out of it. Step out of it. Now is the time. Now is the call. There is massive change. Life is completely different. Your entire human organism system, everything that you are, your emotions, the way you feel, the way you act, the way you speak, the way you sound, the way people perceive you, the way you perceive people, has everything to do with your physical body. Like on the inside, what's going on with your gut health, what's going on with your intestines, what's going on with your liver, what's going on with your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your vagus nerve. So imagine taking care of those things and seeing how far that can really get you. That's one of the biggest keys of life, is being healthy, eating, drinking healthy, removing any drugs. But remember, when you do drugs, when you get involved with substances that are looked on as bad, you got to remember that back in ancient times, there used to be tribes that would do all these substances, and they would do it from a spiritual standpoint. And the truth of it is there is a spiritual understanding behind it that can awaken certain genetic codes. So when you have, smoking weed, or psychedelics is a huge one, or, kratom and kava, alcohol, all these things, there's a certain level that if you go into them, your body adapts to those substances and it learns to recreate itself from the experience that you had from those substances. But then your mind gets this psychological almost attachment and you feel like you need it every time. But what people aren't telling you is to literally experience it for a month, then pull yourself completely out. So discipline yourself, go into it fully, and get the learning that you need, get the adaptations that happen on a genetic level from it, but then literally pull yourself out. Go fucking cold turkey. Don't listen to what people tell you about, you need to take this medication, you need to take that shit, you need to take this shit, you need to take this shit. I've been through all that. Shit does not fucking work. I'm gonna tell you guys something. This is personal, but this fits. I used to be addicted to pills, right? And this was for a while. I almost lost my life 6 times just from pills. I was taking Xanax and I was taking Adderall at the same time. And if you don't know the difference between those two, Xanax is a downer and Adderall is an upper. Literally, Xanax is like codeine and fucking Adderall is like crack cocaine. So I'm on both of these at the same time. And I remember that I realized I had a problem. It took me a while because it felt so good. It felt amazing. And I'm literally balancing them out. Not many people take Xanax and Adderall at the same time. I was doing that. It's not good for you because your body goes AWire, but it made me feel so good. It made me feel like I was so aware and just comfortable and everything was going okay. When in reality, everything already is, but I had found this almost cheat code if you will. And I started doing that, and I realized it was a problem. Long time. It took me a while, because first I got off the Xanax because that was really fucking me up, because it fucks with your memory. So I ended up stopping the Xanax after a few months. It took me a while. And then I stayed on the Adderall because I found a way to get my Adderall prescribed. So I went to the doctor, and it was like simple. It's like, hey, I have ADHD. Can I have Adderall? And they just give it to you. And then next thing you know, I have 2 prescriptions of Adderall. Like 2. Like I asked for another one, and they just gave it to me. They checked my blood pressure. They're like, oh, you're good. Here's another one. It's like, it's so simple to get this shit. So be aware of that. But I was taking this for like 2 years. And Adderall, I could tell it had a hold on my life. I could tell. But it also gave me this feeling of like energy that I naturally have. But because I was taking the drug, I thought it was just easier and more efficient to get it that way. So I remember one day I just went cold turkey. And everyone's like, be careful, don't go cold turkey on that shit. Like, you gotta be careful, it can fuck with your body. And I'm sure it can. But I went fucking cold turkey. And that was the best choice that I've ever made in my entire life. Because if I had like lowered the dose and lowered the dose and lowered the dose, I guarantee you I wouldn't have quit. I would have found a lower dose to stay on and be like, oh, this is where I'll stay. I've seen that happen to many people, even successful people. But I went cold turkey, and I said, I'm not taking that shit anymore. And I stopped. And I haven't taken it since. And that's that. And did I learn a lot from taking that drug? Absolutely. I think it's part of the reason why I'm able to think so fast, think very clearly, think very like I can direct energy very well. And I think it plays a part because I used to take that drug because it really makes you focus. But I needed to stop because my time was done. Like, I should have really only did it for like a month and then cold turkey, but I did it for years, and it stretched, it made my growth progression take years. Like, it took years off my growth. Years. Do you understand that? So, that's the key, is to fully indulge yourself into something and stop. Then go back to being holistic, getting your juices, doing all that stuff, and realize what these things do to you. Realize how they can help you, realize how they can hurt you. It's the balance. But other than that, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I love you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell because I'm putting videos out almost every single day. Other than that, feel free to drop down in the comments, engage with me, add me on Instagram, JER_477. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll talk to you there. Other than that, I love you guys. Peace.